The value in networking.
I like in-person dealing more now with the shows.
There was a lot of foul activity going on, and no one's talking about it.
I feel like I see less patience in the hobby today. And I want to get your thoughts on it. When you hear of the large dollar amounts now around PMGs, what do you think?
What it takes for someone to spend that much money on any card.
Fanatics did something tonight I had never heard about. They have a lottery.
We got you on the line.
Oh my goodness, we're both on the line.
Hey, I don't think that the fact that they did Be Friends and Jackass is going to have any impact on how they treat sports cards.
So I asked you, FD, since we're rolling with FD.
Let's roll, William. What's up? You got to let the people know who you're rolling with, man.
Well, obviously I'm rolling with FD.
What's up, everybody? It's Monday. How we all doing? You sure my brand is right here. How we doing? What's going on? It's good to see everyone here. I'm excited for today. I'm excited for almost every day, but I'm excited. Been a lot going on. We got TJ here. Gonna bring him in right now. This is TJ from Gold Label Sports.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on, man?
How are you? Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been months, right? We were
absolutely
on together. I was reminding people for the Super Bowl.
I know. A lot of great people on that stream. I remember. But what's up? How's everything been going? I see you've been posting a lot of awesome content. I've been trying to catch up for a little bit now. I'm happy that you've been succeeding so much. It makes me happy. So good job, man.
Thank you. Just been trying to put the energy in, to
absolutely.
I appreciate you saying that. It means a lot.
Yeah. I know it's the YouTube grind is tough.
Yeah, I don't know if most people. I know I don't know if most people really realize that, but to me, I would equate it to if you threw a football, never heard it hit anyone's hands or the roar of the crowd. If you hit a baseball, you never knew where it went sometimes. Turned in an assignment in school, never really got a grade back. It's like you're doing stuff that sometimes you don't hear outcomes. You may hear some comments here or there, but you really don't know if your objective of what you want to get done, are you accomplishing that?
100%.
You don't know. You know that.
Yeah. I mean, I started, man, it was like, I've been on the YouTube grind now for 3 years. I mean, I started back when I was 20 years old. I mean, I got into it when it was so easy to make a dime on YouTube. All you had to do was post a couple videos and you were making AdSense, and then they changed, obviously, through the years until it is now. And now it's hard. I mean, you really got to show that you want it. And, that's why, like I said, I commend you a lot because you're one of the few people like myself that are really passionate about sports cards and just helping people enjoy the hobby. So that's why I say, man, it's good to see good people like you, giving back to the community, going to these shows, showing your light. So it's awesome. So I'm happy to be here, though. It's been a long 3 years, but things are.
Well, my son G and I, excuse me, G is my editor.
Okay, really?
So we shoot everything together. We go places together, and then he edits the video. We both, we all know it's sometimes it's some late nights, sometimes it's some planning out schedules and all that. But I will say this is something that I wanted to do for a long time. And then it almost doesn't even feel like work sometimes.
Yeah. There's some days where I'm like, oh my gosh, I do not want to edit a video. I do not want to film a video. But then next thing you know, you get Instagram DMs. When I have my Instagram, I'm recently just making it. But like they'll say, hey, when's your next video coming out? And you're like, oh man, like
that's the kind of stuff that give you that push.
Exactly. You got to post for people like that, So at the end of the day, yeah, we're trying to grow brands. Yeah, we're trying to do this, do that, make money, whatever it may be, or just genuine love. But, there's people looking up to guys like you and me and these other guys that I see that are either dropping the ball, right, or not dropping the ball. So trust me, man, I got a lot of opinions and some hot takes tonight. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
All good. So I know you got on earlier and left a comment. Let's go.
Always.
You were hyped.
Yeah.
James says, good FD, how are you? Feed the Gods is here. Good evening, everyone. And then we got CV Sports Card saying, what's good, guys? How you doing?
Awesome.
So TJ, let's start with, give us your background a little bit. Where you from? Where you grew up? How you got interested in sports?
Sure. Yeah, so I actually grew up on Pokemon cards, believe it or not. Now, for people, this is early, but I mean, some people close to me that are in the community that I, talk with exclusively. Back then, when Shadowless Charizards came out, and it's obviously the big deal, right? I had like 30 of them. It's probably one of my biggest regrets ever. I lost them when I was a kid. I think I sold a couple to my brother, for like penny for like a piece of bubble gum. Like back then, we didn't know that cards like that would be as big as they are now. So that's where I really got on. Michael Jordan's always been my absolute, GOAT to me. I played professional sports for a long time, volleyball overseas in Holland and Italy and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's where I kind of got that sport love for, but I also played basketball a ton. So I kind of got a lot of those attributes from Michael Jordan. Then I took it to my sports card collecting and just being aggressive and just disciplined and trying to, take those childhood passions and bring them back in my 20s, now going on my 30s. So from Macungie, Pennsylvania, 29 years old, been on and off sports cards my whole life and Pokemon, like I said, but now, when COVID hit, I mean, I'll tell the same story when everyone else did. I started a brand just as like will it work? So here we are 3 years later, and I'm doing this part-time too. I do a 9 to 5 as well. So man, it's the grind, it's, you really got to want it, and 175 videos later, here we are. So, but that's a little bit about me.
So tell me more about your business that you have.
Sure.
You talk about investments. You talk about investments outside of sports cars. Walk us through that.
Mm-hmm. So actually I took a little bit of a break of it, but I'm just starting to ramp it back up. Actually, people actually hired me to consult them on how to grow a brand, sports card brand, how to master eBay and get sales, how to go to these card shows and find deals. That's kind of my next thing, is I really do want to go to a lot more card shows. I've been slacking. Everyone's asking me to get to some shows and stuff. But, I teach guys that are just starting out, how to be successful and, go at their own pace, do all that stuff. So I really teach people how to grow a brand and then make a business out of it. I have a few guys that I consult now that actually made full-time LLCs and quit their jobs and actually, went out and did it, and, that's another thing I want to motivate and inspire people to, take a chance in themselves. And, some people it's worked out for, but some people it hasn't. So, more successes than losses, but, I love what I do. I love inspiring the younger generation to, go out and use sports cards as an avenue to get away from their stresses, to make it a passion, to, even inspire and motivate, other people through their work too. So that's really what I try to do. And, I've been blessed enough to monetize all that stuff, which is cool, but, I'm not even close to being done yet. We got a lot of exciting things for 2023 that are in the works. So I'm excited.
So when you look at the sports card market, let's get into some meat of this.
All right.
What
Awesome.
what do you see coming up in the future? What do you see the market at in 12 months, 18 months?
I've said this in videos. I think it's time for people to really understand that, sealed wax is a really good investment. I've said this before. I think, you have these big, huge banger cards that are worth thousands of dollars, right? But people right now, I know a couple of my buddies that they started off when COVID started, right? When this whole thing became really something in the mainstream media, they just would buy every set that come out, Pokemon, sports. They took like 10 grand and made it over 500,000 already. Just packing out stuff. So I think right now too, I think people should really start to invest in just keeping wax sealed too. I think that's actually appreciating. I did some math. It was like 20% year over year from even like the little lower sets to obviously the bigger sets like National Treasures, Crown Royal stuff, Crown Royale, stuff like that. So it's kind of, that's where I'm at right now. And like, I've done the cards already. So like, I'm pretty familiar with, the market with the cards, but my next venture for me, to be honest, is I really want to invest and do some, sealed wax now, Pokemon and sports cards, and just test it out. So, and see what happens. But, all signs are pointing towards, for me at least, trying a new thing. And I think other people should, because they're having success as well. But don't get me wrong, you can still flip cards. People may think you can't flip cards. You're wrong. People, you just got to do your research and hunt. It's a lot harder to find those flips now. But if you like that's where eBay comes into play, right? You got to be willing to get up at 4 a.m. and find the deals. You got to find the sellers that have the great cards. People aren't willing to put, they're not willing to put in the work. And then they're sitting there complaining going, Why can't I make a sale on eBay? Why don't I get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube? Why don't I do this, do that? You got to put in the work. Like, it's in anything in life. If you want to be great, you got to put in the work, period.
Because I found on eBay that you may find a card ended. That's the auction is ending at an odd time. Like whoever put it up, the auction is ending at an odd time. Or the description does not allow a lot of people to find that card.
Absolutely.
And then you just run up on something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you can find that. For me personally, like I could be on eBay over an hour just searching, doing something else. Like something's in the background. Maybe my son is watching something or something's going on. I'm just searching, and I'll find something that, like I've looked yesterday. I didn't see this, but I see it right now. So I agree with you on. You don't know what you can find if you're just out there browsing.
Absolutely. And one of the things that eBay is really focusing on too, anyone that's watching, if you're familiar with how digital marketing works, that's my 9 to 5. So my 9 to 5 is, I literally build brands for people for a living. So one of the things, SEO is what it's called. So it's using different keywords to be found, just like a website, just like your social media. Everyone's gravitating towards that, even eBay now, even though it's a private marketplace. They use an SEO driven kind of feature and people don't know about. If you use different keywords and misplace them, right? If I go Michael Jordan PSA 9, but if I switch it and go PSA 9 Michael Jordan, you'll actually get different results and different cards that pop up.
That's true.
And people don't know that. So just play around with it. There's a lot of deals out there to still be found, a lot of deals. And there's plenty of people right now that are giving away their collections for a very low dollar amount that you can flip and make that first sale and really propel you on to making it, a little side hustle. So
TJ is dropping gems, people. I hope folks are listening to this because it's great knowledge. We got Big John here that's saying, yo, Feed the God says, I have a couple of sealed Pokemon boxes. Bought it at MSRP, and they both did about at least 150%. So let me ask you this, TJ. On your focus on sealed wax, are you looking at certain years with certain rookies involved? Or what's a little bit of the strategy there?
Yeah, so my main thing right now, it really goes down to budget. So basically, how I really define a goal, right? For me, I sit down and I literally plan it out for a month or two. I sit down and weigh out the pros, the cons. I go into the market. I see what's happening. I pay attention to social media. I didn't post videos for about 3.5 months because I was literally just researching. I was watching my competitors. I was watching what people are doing. I'm seeing the noise.
I'm gonna tell you this. So I track people, right?
Yeah.
And definitely people that I notice have a certain work ethic, right? Mm-hmm. And I knew you were not gone.
Nope.
I knew that.
I was planning. And sometimes too, it's you got to sit back and watch for a little bit and to see what happens. And while everyone's, sitting there going, man, I'm selling my sports cards. I'm kind of giving up. I sit there. It's you know what? I'm going to sell these cards. I'm going to make money on them because remember, I hunted these cards down at 4 a.m. I'm being dead honest with you. I hunted these cards down at 4 a.m., 12 at night when people are asleep. So I already know I make money. I made at least, I did when I sold I actually sold my recent collection. Now I'm going to take all that money and, I just got married too. So I had to use some of it for that. Yeah, thanks. And then I used it for some of that. But then I was sitting there planning on my next move. I said, you know what? Now I'm going to do, like you said, the sealed wax and just see. So it is a little disappointing because I've seen huge names now just quit. It is really disappointing to me. A graded card investor was someone that I looked up to when I first started. I don't know if you know who that is. He was the PSA collector back in the day. Okay. He had to change.
Oh yeah, I know. I know who that is.
He was the goat.
I used to watch his YouTube stuff all the time.
He's the GOAT. To me, when I found him, he's the one who got me into it again, seeing all that stuff. So it was just,
He was the master. He's a master at finding a deal on eBay.
Deals. And that's where I learned from.
Analyzing a picture on eBay. I learned a lot from watching this stuff. Bringing a card in, getting it graded, 9 or 10 usually, and keeping that thing moving. And we're talking about big names. We're talking about sets that people have forgot about. Just keeping it moving.
Yep. So just to go back to your question, right now, my big thing is that I am, looking for sealed wax. Like you said, how do you determine what to go for, what not to go for? First off, like I said, I'm taking the same strategy that I did with sports cards where I got people, safe sellers, auctions ending at 4 a.m. I got stuff ending at 12 at night. I'm looking for, obviously, you want to go for the rookies and stuff, and that's cool. But right now too, I'm actually shifting a lot of my focus away from basketball and really going into football. I'm a big fan of Herbert. I love Justin Herbert, Josh Allen. I see a couple of your shows, FD. The people on here, they're saying that like Zach Wilson and these guys, Trevor Lawrence, are going to be good. I'm sitting over here going, "Oh yeah, man,
gosh. I'm losing it." Last night I was losing it. Yeah,
I was commenting.
Yeah, I saw you.
I was going crazy. It's a big thing. It's like the cards are one thing, but I think the prestige around the set matters a lot. It's the same thing with Pokemon cards. Obviously, the prestige with the vintage stuff is just insane, right? That's where the most of the money at. Some of the modern sets, but it's the same. It's the same thing, right? In sports cards, you're going to make more on the sealed wax with higher population cards than you would if you're going to break that box open and just hope that you're going to get something. Hope. So, I mean, and then, I'm even thinking about maybe doing, some box breaking, which I know that's a question we'll get into later on, but, even maybe doing that someday, just testing new things out, man. It's just trying to grow. And it's a very uncomfortable space because I've never been a box breaker, but I know how to do it because I've studied the grades. And that's the thing. Now it's just implementing things. So, but
one thing I'll say, just bouncing off what you just said, right? Yeah. Try different stuff. I try to challenge myself to look at different things a different way. So when I first started the channel, I was picking up a lot of graded cards. Then I started thinking about and talking to other people in the community about, how do you look at this? So how do you look at this? And I started learning more about analyzing the card when it's raw, understanding what you're dealing with. If you get that graded, then what's your margin on the card from going to raw to graded, and then how you can keep that going to maybe do something else that you want to do and
100%.
climb up to a different card or something. That wasn't my mindset, but I would just say always keep a mindset of trying something different. This hobby evolves very quickly. I think those who can keep a mind and adjust to different things and use social media, other avenues to learn from and also build whatever brand you're trying to build, help you out in the long run.
100%. And that's a big reason why I deleted my Instagram, is because I wanted to start over and apply all the new things that I learned to a new Instagram, a new brand, right? Because I admit it, like my first Instagram was like, I made that just when I knew nothing about Instagram, like literally nothing. And now I know, and now I just started a new one, doing that again. And one of the things you said about trying new things, big thing that I'm doing right now is I actually found a full-time editor to edit my videos. One thing about me, like I'm a control freak with that stuff because I like certain things are done a certain way. So even that stuff, you free up a ton of time, even though you may, may buy, a video to get edited and it costs you a little bit of money, $15, whatever. Even like stuff like that. If you outsource some of your work to people and you build a little team around you, one of these guys that I'm really looking at, his name's Alex Hormozy. I don't know if you know who that is. He's huge on social media. Okay. Look him up. You'll really like him. He hires out everybody from his TikTok to his Instagram to his YouTube. He just makes the content, sends it off to them, and then he posts it. He saves over, I think, hundreds of hours a month, and he makes $40,000 just extra cash flow from social. And this guy makes about, I think, $150 million a year. He found a gym launch, and it was like a huge gym acquisition company. I know it's not sports cards, but he is a great person to look after because all he does is talk into the camera, give people really great advice, puts really good captions there, develops a brand, and there you go. So sometimes it's simpler than you think. Even in sports cards, a lot of people try to overcomplicate things and, oh man, I got to buy a $100,000 Charizard. I got to do this. If you're just real with people and honest and, transparent, right? And you give people stuff for free, and not charge them for every single thing, people are going to trust you. You're going to grow a following, and it's sometimes simpler than than you think. So
I totally agree, because in the hobby we talk about the 6-figure cards, 7-figure cards, but we don't talk about, just like, okay, I'm watching the other day at the National, there was a PSA 10 52 Mickey Mouse. Yep. That's a $35 million card. The gentleman who purchased it told a story about how he purchased it in 1991 for $50,000. Now, every big card, Jordan, PSA 10, Fleer. There's some other cars that are running around. At one point, those cars were quite affordable. Yep, we don't talk 100%. About the principles that take you from starting something to getting affordable cars before they take off. We talk about things at 35,000 feet in the air.
Yep, 100%. And one of the things too is like we're in that transition now where the older cars are getting too known, if that makes sense. The little bit of higher pops now, and now the new wave of rare cards from football to baseball to basketball, all these cards, it's the new wave now. If you can capitalize on it now, you will be a millionaire. I promise you in 4 or 5 years when, Herbert and these guys, like, let's say they all become Hall of Famers, and sometimes you got to take a chance. Obviously, you're not going to be dumb and pick up, 1,000 pop base Justin Herbert Prism cards, right? But sometimes you got to, buy one big card for $1,000 and see and kind of make that card work for you. It's just like stock market investment. I talk about it all the time on my channel. Anyone who's familiar with stock market, you got to take those same principles into growing a brand, but also into growing your portfolio. If you take in sound financial principles, you'll be sitting there with money in your pocket and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I just accumulated all these assets for basically nothing because I was smart and not an idiot. I didn't follow the hype. I didn't sit there and look at these guys, these big breakers that, basically get paid by Panini to break their boxes, right? Like
you're talking right now, man. Keep going. I say this stuff all the time.
I know it's social media is cool, but at the end of the day, you got to focus on your impact and what you're really doing with your videos and being unique, being you. And like I said, that's why I love your show. And that's not me just saying it because you're unique, you're you, you do your thing. People respect you, and it's good because you're yourself. You ain't trying to impress nobody. You're just enjoying it.
No, we do our thing the way we did before any cameras were on.
And
so I ask this question to people all the time. We talk about the 86 Fleer. Let's say that card of Mike Jordan or LeBron had a 1-on-1 or 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 10 gold from those years. So when you look at these cards now, like what you're talking about, and you look at these players, at some point after Steph Curry in basketball, after some of these other players, talking about Brady's coming to an end, what is Herbert, what is Burrow, what are these players going to do? Who's going to have 3 Super Bowls under their belt, 4, be a legend, go into the Hall of Fame with a card that's 1 out of 5 from their rookie year? Those are going to be very rare to find.
100%. And I think Joe Burrow has the best chance at anybody to do that. To be honest with you, if you really take it down into intangibles, he impressed me so much this year. I mean, that's my hot take. I know people.
So I like Burrow a lot too, right? He gets me because he has that edge to him. Yeah, what about him excites you?
Probably his tenacity. I mean, he tears his ACL, whatever happened. I don't know, blows his knee out. He could have been done. He could have quit. I mean, stuff like that. You don't understand. I was a professional athlete myself. I got hurt all the time. No, never torn ACL, never. But I had people who did, and I've seen them recover. The blood, the sweat, the tears it takes you to get back at a certain level, and then he takes a team to Super Bowl. I mean, come on. If that don't show you a guy like that would keep me up at night. I just reminds me like championship games we would lose. I go to bed at night over in Europe, and you're sitting there going, man, like, you know what? I take that newspaper, paste it right to my wall, and I'm seeing that every day. Every day. And I think Burrow does that. He's that type of player from LSU to Bengals and just taking a crappy team and making them great.
I agree with you.
He got an edge.
He definitely has an edge to him.
100%.
So CV Sports Card says, TJ, what is in your opinion about basketball boxes from the late 90s? I purchased 10 boxes, good price of finest, 98 to 2000. Stadium Club Chrome, etc. That's when I was opening stuff. Shall I hold a flip?
I honestly think you should hold them because, now I saw that the new top sets are coming out. The new Chrome sets are coming out. You saw that, FD? Mm-hmm. I would hold them until those sets come out, and then I think you're going to see some market movement. So definitely hold them. But those are great buys, man. Great buys.
Big John, when you have a lot of low end and base, selling on eBay gets hard and you lose enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, and that's what I wish they would have talked to guys like us right before buying base, because that's honestly how I started. Back in the day when The Last Dance came on, right? I bought all the base Jordans and LeBrons you could find for $5 for PSA 10s. You remember that?
Yeah,
and I
remember that.
flipped them all for like $60. That was great.
Mhm.
But if I would have held them a little longer, I would have made more. See what I mean? So it's even applying to stuff like this. I would sell them all as fast as you possibly can, and I would take all those earnings and I would find 2, 3, 4, higher end cards that you can kind of invest those profits into, and then go from there. If you're going to go into like Prism, Select, stuff like that, obviously find those parallels, silvers, those silvers mainly. Work your way up from football if it's football, basketball. Just find those rare parallels that are affordable for your budget too. I think it always just go down to the budget. And I've been exactly where you are too. I've had to reassess multiple times where I've had to sell everything 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
You have to,
Yep.
because it gives you a greater appreciation and you learn a lot, especially if you're a young collector and doing all that stuff. So.
And then if you're looking at Select and Prism, look at the parallels by year because the production
100%.
amounts change.
Yep.
So if you go back to Giannis's rookie year, a silver was very rare because not many of them were made. But each year those production runs change, and when you get a hold of that, you'll find something. Feed the gods. I've always noticed there's 2 sides of people that collect cards. People who only get slabs versus raw. Are there still any value in keeping cards raw?
I actually was just thinking about that the other day. One of the things that I'm actually going to do too is starting to get raw cards only, believe it or not, because there's a different appreciation in assessment. So if I get a card raw, I bought a couple of cards. I think LeBron's rookie year, that box DVD set with him with the white suit. You know what I'm talking about? Yep. I bought a ton of those raw, and I actually sold them raw again, and I tried to flip them, and I made some money. That's cool. But now it's like I think I'm really going to try and buy as much raw higher end cards because obviously they're cheaper, and then send them into places like SGC and stuff like that, because you're able to accumulate a lot more that way than wasting your entire budget on one PSA card, if that makes sense. Those little margins add up, believe it or not. I started out that way, and I just, it took me 200, 300 cards that I sold to get to where I am today. But those little margins add up, those $20, $30, $40, $50 margins. You don't always got to make $1,000 margins to make it. Okay. So I would absolutely recommend to buy all these big time cards you see in social media raw if you can, and just look for the corners, look for the edges, the surface, and the centering, and you'll be good.
TJ, speaking nothing but the truth, this is exactly what I'm doing right now. And I think people fail to realize that if you have a gold card in mind, let's say you're looking at something, you say, I want that card, take steps to it.
Yep.
Don't just try to go straight to that card. Take steps, because the market, if you play things the right way, make calculated decisions on what you want to do, and have a strategy, you will be able to get to that card. I look at cards right now sometimes that I'm purchasing, and I tell people in my household, I remember a time where I would never thought I could buy that card. And it's not.
And now look at you.
Yeah, I'm trying to take a step to get there. There's some autographs back in the day. I'm really big in autographs. I thought I would never get a Derek Jeter autograph. I'd never get an Alex Rodriguez autograph. When opportunities come up, and then you can't. Bill Russell just passed away. I thought I'd never get a Bill Russell or Kobe Bryant. When opportunities come up, they will present themselves to you on some stuff. I can remember, TJ, I tell people this, Joe Montana, mid to late 90s, only was signing with Upper Deck. You would never see Joe Montana at a show. So if you weren't going through Upper Deck, but the contracts changed. I was unaware at the time of the business side of things. When I started going to more shows, I started to understand why people don't sign certain things. Is all written in their contract. Yep. Why is TJ only signing 1 inscription at this show, but in that show he signed 4? Because it's about the contract and negotiation. Yep. Maybe today TJ has less time to sign, so his contract is different than it was at the last show. When you start to understand all that, you understand opportunities come up, you go for them. Like LeBron first came out, he was autographing some Fleer cards. When he signed a contract with Upper Deck, you don't see that anymore.
Nope.
So that's the business.
LeBron's got that one Fleer X card. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. It's
that
black and gold one. He's got the practice jersey on. That's one of my cards I'm chasing this year coming up.
It's a great card.
That's like his rookie card, and people don't know about it. So
to me, he is a player that's very popular, but he has some rookie cards beyond the top. I mean, the Chrome card that are less in population, less were produced, and you don't hear people talking about it.
Because it's the hype queen, like all the hype kings on social media. I'm not going to name names. About 5 people coming to my head right now. All they were was pumping chromes. Gary Vee said, buy the chromes, but it's, it's just all hype. At the end of the day, you have to do your own research. You have to put in your own time work, and that's where that tunnel vision comes in. I don't listen to any of these guys. I study them. I see what they're saying, but there's some stuff where I'm like, man, come on.
I tell people all the time, even at shows, like I kind of make my own decisions on what I'm going to do and why. If you ask me the strategy, I can walk you through it. It may be right or wrong, or we can disagree about what we're going to do on this particular player, but I can definitely walk you through it. And the answer is not going to be, I was just listening to this person over here.
Yeah, 100%.
Feed the God says, CFD, I'm not the only one who sees a possible future. I like Burrow. I like his tenacity and his dog nature. I like that.
Who do you think is the best out of those 3? Out of those 3 guys.
I've said before, I think Burrow has a possibility of being the best. What made me concerned last year was how many times he was being touched and put on the ground.
Yeah, that was my thing too.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that'll hurt a quarterback. When you talk about, to me, it's Burrow 1, Herbert 2. Some people may think differently than that. I got to really see this year what Herbert is going to do. Yeah. How's he going to be? He's got to come through the Raiders. He's got to come through the Broncos.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And both those teams, like I said, Drew Lock is another one. I think he's going to get killed. I think he's going to get killed.
I don't even think Drew Lock is a good quarterback.
Yeah, he's horrible. I mean, people are literally making videos on it.
But on paper, he's the NFL prototype quarterback on paper. His height, his weight, the way he delivers the ball. But it's something like playing the game. It's not on paper.
A lot different. You can, just like I told you, I played sports. Like you could see guys pounding balls in volleyball and hitting lines, right? You see the USNS team just pounding. They couldn't go in the game to play to save their life. It's the same thing. So that's what I really look at it, and by teams, right? Like the Broncos, their defense is always pretty good, but their offense has struggled mightily. I feel like since Peyton Manning left, Chargers, I actually have some buddies on the Chargers that I personally know on defense. I know Kazir White, Kazir White. He's one of my buddies. We went to high school together. We still keep in touch. I think the Chargers could really make some noise too. But just something. I'm a Packers fan, and I'm brokenhearted every year in that NFC Championship game. We never can win, so I'm rooting for Patrick Mahomes this year. I hope he does well. I like him too.
So, how did you become a Packers fan?
Well, my wife loves them, and they play the Steelers all the time. I feel like I'm always watching them play the Steelers. My family. So then, when he became really, really good, I didn't really necessarily hop on the bandwagon. I just look at people's personality off the field, how they interact in interviews. He's a great guy. He cares and he works hard. He's a special talent. I remember watching him when he was on the ESPN training challenge, like compete against like the co-hosts and stuff, and he was horrible. I was like, there's no way this guy's going to make it, but he was throwing the ball 70, 80 miles an hour. So, and now look at him. He's won a couple of Super Bowls. He's doing his thing, and, he's going to probably win some more too. So
let me ask you this question. How much, because I can tell by talking to you, you watch sports.
Oh, yeah.
How much does watching sports enter into your decision-making process of where you're going to invest here or there?
Believe it or not, it actually doesn't affect me that much. I don't really invest into football that much. I never have. I know it's a quarterback game, so people are really only buying the quarterbacks. But when I watch, I'm really watching to see, one, I'm trying to predict who the contenders are going to be, so I will invest. But I've always been a vintage guy. I've never been a modern guy. Okay. I'm only really starting to even look at modern just on sealed wax and maybe buy some, rare Patrick Mahomes cards or, stuff like that just to see how it works. But I'm really only been a vintage guy. How it works, and what's happening throughout the seasons really doesn't impact my investing strategy too much.
Well, see, that's what I tell people. There's a different way to do everything, right? So, like, primarily now, when I watch sports, I'm prospecting something.
Yeah.
I'm looking to see who is this player, where they're going to be long-term, where they're going to be short-term, and then how does that kind of fall into what am I about to start doing? Yeah. But there's different ways to do everything.
100%.
So let's go back to Mahomes. Like, I have a prediction that I think Mahomes is going to have a flip career, where he's going to have success up front that we've already seen, and on the back
he's going to fall off?
I think he's going to struggle because when you have the cheetah, man, running a route, you can throw a ball that's accurate to him, or it could be 10 yards away. he's going to go get the ball. You can bring in a player like Juju Smith-Schuster. There's a bunch of other wide receivers you can be in. They don't have the ability to do that.
Nope.
So it's going to be on Patrick Mahomes. Now, if he can drop back and put the ball where it needs to be, which I think he can, then he's going to be okay. But if he goes to that Patrick Mahomes that's running and let me just sling this thing and let him work it out down there, that's not going to work out.
It ain't working. Nope. Yeah, the Dolphins are going to be a lot better. I still think Tua is going to struggle, though.
I think Tua is going to struggle, too.
Yeah.
I don't think he has the arm
like
strength
him
for the NFL.
Yeah, and I like him, too. But, everyone's hype on him still. I just feel like this is his year. If you don't do anything this year, it could be a bust career, but people can turn it around, too. You never know. I mean, it's really just how you attack your offseason and make use of your contract. When I was playing, if I knew I had 3 years with the team, I was doing every single possible thing that I possibly could to be the best I could. It's the same thing that these players got to do. If you have a 5-year rookie deal, you better be working your butt off those 5 years and not, just enjoying the limelight. So it's really just how the players take it in. But
it's true.
Yeah.
Because after that 5, it could be jackpot time.
You're done. Yeah.
So we got, does anyone think that the original Stadium Club is super underrated? Mainly talking about the quality. Well, those cards changed the game as far as picture quality.
Absolutely. Yeah. Some of those Stadium Club Michael Jordan cards were some really popular cards a little bit ago. And, there's obviously some rare parallel inserts in there now and, every single set. But I don't think it's underrated, but obviously there's more base cards. But I think the cards you can get out of it are underrated depending on the social media hype.
So you said earlier you've gotten rid of all your single cards?
Dude, I literally sold everything.
Okay.
So the reason why is because, like I said, I'm about to start my buying. I usually start my buying towards the end of the year because that's when everyone's trying to get rid of it for Christmas time. You can get so many sales, so many deals. When fall starts, and fall's coming up quick, that's usually my big powerhouse buying. I go through, literally take it through like a business quarters. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but like Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Q1 is when I'm buying as much as I can. Q2 is when I'm selling. I'm testing the market out, seeing what's happening, selling or keeping what I want. And then, Q3, I'm buying more. Q4, I'm selling.
So what do you think about the card values dipping? What will be, let me ask this question. What is your strategy in a declining market where prices are dipping? Are you buying, selling? What would you recommend to someone that asks you that question?
So I take a finance approach to it. So stock market, right? You hear it all the time, even right now. It's big. Everyone's worried that the stock market is going to crash, right? Same thing with the sports card market. They're kind of getting a little cynical with it and going, man, the sports cards are over. Sports card are over. I got 5 people that I actually personally know that their grandfathers have been collecting cards since Mickey Mantle back in the 30s, whatever, right? Back in the 30s, okay? And they are multi-millionaires because they bought as much as they possibly could during recessions, the big, huge cards, and they are multi-millionaires. And people may think it can't be done now, but with the mass population cards, it can, because now you can go into those vintage eras and find the really rare inserts that no one has, no one knows about, maybe pop 5, pop 10, and grab them up for nothing, and then in a year they're going up. It's the same thing, the market usually appreciates in the stocks probably around anywhere from that 4 to 6% a year to year, depending on the market. Sports cards are the same thing, and I think you actually have more of a chance to be rich and make a profit in sports cards, believe it or not, than the stock market right now. And that's, people may not agree with me, but you can get those crazy vintage cards.
And growth over time has shown us that the numbers do not lie.
Yep. And back in the day, actually, the reason why they bought the sports cards was to battle inflation, because they wanted to protect their money inside of a card. And it's pretty cool. If you do your research, you can find some really awesome documentaries, stories, and you can really, battle test it with the market today and see, oh man, it's the same type of deal. I could go out and, get these really low cards and low pop cards for $300, $400, $500 to $1,000, hold them for 5 years and quadruple my money.
Speaking nothing but facts, man. Nothing but facts. It's just interesting to me, even in the hobby though. You talk to people and you tell them some of this stuff, and they're looking at you like, what are you talking about?
You're crazy. It's basic economics. Basic economics. When there's a market that crashes, is about to crash, you buy as much as you possibly can. When there's a market that's high, that's when you sell. You buy low, you sell high.
And then when you come out of that dip, the returns on things are not not that 4 to 6% that you saw before.
No, they're like 25, 30%.
30%. Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, I was even talking to my wife, about this a little bit before, and I was like, man, who would have thought a little piece of cardboard could make either that much money or change somebody's life or inspire somebody to finally post on social media and, be comfortable with themselves and do all these things. I think, sports card making a comeback, just because of COVID has been amazing. Been amazing.
I agree. What do you think is going to happen in the upcoming NFL season? Well, you got any predictions on?
Well, Packers are going to lose in the NFC Championship. I think Rams are going to be tough, I think, to beat this year.
Did they get past Tampa Bay?
That's what I was saying. I think Brady is going to win this year because that's just how the NFL works. You know what I mean? So
I would love to see Tampa Bay versus the Chargers in the Super Bowl.
Oh, that'd be a great game.
I think that'd be wonderful.
Wonderful. I might have to come down to California and visit you for that one.
Yeah, you had to come. You had to kick it, man. I think that'd be phenomenal. You're talking about the hype of that game, the two quarterbacks that are involved, the other players that are on the teams. It'd be crazy, but I mean, we will see. The Tampa was I predicted Tampa to go to the Super Bowl last year. And they were really one play away from shaking everything up.
Yeah, this year is a year that I just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, even let's say, even the NBA, I'm a Miami Heat fan. I was heartbroken this year. I thought we were going to do it, but
really?
Jimmy Butler can't carry everybody. But I think Golden State's going to win again.
So do I.
This coming year, they're just so good.
Yeah, I think the newer players are going to step up, and I think they're going to be even stronger than they were last year. The question is, who's going to come out of the East to play them? I don't know, because I don't think it's going to be Boston. Miami, the only reason I thought they couldn't pull it off is because they don't have enough scoring on the team.
Yeah, and the thing is, Tyler Hero is hurt. I mean, I think that was a huge factor. I mean, and Duncan Robinson didn't play either. I was like, Spoelstra, what are you doing? You got this other guy in here that I don't even remember.
He just signed a huge contract.
Yeah, and he's sitting on the bench. That's our Splash Brothers.
I think the worst thing they did though was let PJ Tucker get out the building. I'm a huge PJ Tucker fan. The way he plays defense is old school. He's an offensive threat, and he's hard nosed. I just love that in that kind of player. And I can't believe they let him go to the 76ers.
Crazy.
I couldn't believe that Milwaukee let him get out.
People don't know.
FD, are you buying Bill Russell? I don't plan to. Ironically, which is interesting, is that on Saturday, I was looking at some Bill Russell auto cards and thinking about a play maybe the next 2 months. I'm gonna tell you about me. I know I'm different as a collector, right? It's hard for me to purchase someone after they pass away.
Me too, and that's what happened with Kobe too.
It's just
never do it. I still can't buy his cards.
Yeah, it's hard for me. So I just love Bill Russell for what he represented off the court as well as on. But Mr. G's Sacker, I don't know if I'm doing that right now. It's just interesting to me that on Saturday I was looking at cards and thinking about, I may try to do something by October, and Bill Russell passes away. So, and Glorious P has Tampa Bay versus Browns would be awesome.
What do you think about Deshaun Watson? That 6-game suspension today, huh?
I actually thought it was going to be a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to be 8 games. I thought it was going to be about half the season. That's what I thought.
Yeah. I hope he learned from whatever he did.
I hope so. I would hope so. But I thought really that it would be a little bit longer. And I felt like something was coming. But at the end of the day, right? All that goes on. A lot of people are affected. I think more about the people that are affected than I do Deshaun Watson. But we still move Baker Mayfield. That's the thing that kind of got me. We still want to get.
Where did he go?
He's in Carolina now.
Wow, he's going to start.
So we know that this is looming. but we still don't want Baker Mayfield.
And I like Baker Mayfield, to be honest. I think he has a ton of potential. He's just short, in my opinion.
But he's short, and his arm strength is of question at sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. It's good to have full-fledged conversations about sports. There are some good things that happen in sports in the headlines. There are some things that not so. You said Michael Jordan is your all-time GOAT in the NBA?
Yep, 100%.
How would you compare? What do you think when people talk about Kobe Bryant could be the GOAT, LeBron James could be the GOAT?
I think it's about how the same thing with impact, right? So who's had the most impact on the game of basketball? Michael Jordan. I mean, first things first comes Michael Jordan. And it goes by generation, right? So Kobe was a different generation. You know,
True.
LeBron's this generation. Obviously, there's generational greatness in anything you do, business, sports, cards, whatever. But I think, you know, if you're really wrapping your head around it, the all-time best 6 for 6, right? Didn't lose. I think he played harder teams than today. Mm-hmm. And I think even though LeBron's 6'8", you know, 260, he would have got bullied back then. And I don't think he would have been able to take it.
So do I.
Kobe, I think
LeBron is not really a physical. He's not really a physical player.
He's just crazy athletic and muscular, big.
And he's a player that, like, when I lived in Detroit, his first year in Miami, I went to see Detroit play Miami. And LeBron's speed on the court and jump in the building is totally different than what it looks like on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a blazingly fast guy. Supposedly that's
crazy fast.
4'4" in high school playing football.
Yep,
but the way he can move on the court, man, is you don't see stuff like that. Super athletic guy.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, I think, too, it's like this year showed a lot to me. I always invested in LeBron cards, and I told people on my channel, I mean, I'm sure you watch my videos, you heard me say invest in LeBron because of this. I'm definitely against it a little bit more now because I'm you know, he's not winning anymore, really. He gives up a ton on his teammates. Michael Jordan, like that Last Dance documentary, you know, he even though he was a little bit of a hard nose, right, he still made his players be great. Even, you know, the Steve Kerrs of the world, right? You know, he made those people. Yeah. He made those people be great. LeBron doesn't make people be great, in my opinion.
Money Mike says MJ 1, Kobe 2, LeBron not even in the top 10. Money Mike historically says LeBron's not in the top 10.
I like Money Mike. I like Money Mike.
You know, on my list, I have LeBron number 11 all time.
Yeah. Now, if you want to talk about all time, I mean, that's a totally different conversation too. I don't have LeBron. Yeah, I have LeBron like 11, 12.
We're thinking alike, TJ.
I know.
You know, I put that video out, man. I can't tell you how many people in the comments like, man, you're crazy.
You're crazy, FD.
Like, nah, bro. I can't put him above Bill Russell, Wilt, Tim Duncan. I could name several people that I just can't make that move.
I even got Shaq above LeBron.
I can see that.
Because of pure dominance. I mean, go watch. If whoever's watching this, go watch some Shaq highlight tapes with the Orlando Magic.
That's crazy.
Not Lakers, Magic. He was absolutely dominating Michael Jordan when they played each other back in the day in the finals and, like, you know, in the Eastern Conference Finals and all that stuff. I mean, it was pretty scary. And that was when he was like 290.
And then they in shape Shaq, and then Shaq ran into Akeem Olajuwon, and then he got it handed to him.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And Gloria says Michael Jordan is the Babe Ruth of basketball, iconic and will forever be the GOAT. Money Mike, LeBron has the same game as James Worthy in the 80s and early 90s. Money Mike, whenever you say this, man, you crack me up.
Yep.
I love that. I love TJ. He's speaking the truth. Yes, he is speaking the truth. This is why we had to have TJ on. We'll have him on again because he definitely speaks the truth. Let's talk about car breaking.
Yeah, this is great. I was looking forward to talking about this.
What do you think of car breaking? I know you say you potentially would like to break some cars. But what do you think of car breaking and the different car breakers that are out there right now?
So I think my favorite card breakers right now is Pull Wax. I talk to them a lot, actually. They deserve to be part of the national like they were. Just really showcasing the brand. If they do see this, shout out to them. They're great guys. I've been seeing reports that Panini is loading cases and giving it to the box breakers, these big time names, and so it's kind of swaying me away because there's just so much greed behind box breaking. I mean, you've seen, even Backyard Breaks. I heard all that stuff about them, that was horrible. And now they're getting reports of loading boxes, getting loaded Panini boxes with all the new sets that come out.
Backyard pulled the logo man, LeBron, then pulled the logo man, Golden State.
And it's statistically impossible. Which I get it, man. They got a huge platform, on TikTok and whatnot and stuff. But people are not stupid anymore. People can research.
So let me say this. Let me just say this. Are these companies thinking, or are these breakers thinking that if I break cards and I yell and scream and I get excited, that it's going to drive people to their local card store or somewhere to get cards, and I'm helping the ecosystem? Could they be thinking that?
I think, just like in sports, if you're playing sports and you guys make a great play, you guys get hype. It energizes the team. It's the same thing with box breaking. Don't get me wrong. I'm as hype as they come. You can tell now. Like, I'm jacked up to be here on my videos. I'm jacked up, but I'm also real. And I would never. I'm gonna say it again. Never mislead my people who watch my channel, interact with me on a daily basis. Even if I was a box breaker, I pulled $1,000 card and somebody earned that card, I would never keep it for myself on a technicality and do something stupid with it. I just couldn't do it. I don't know how people sleep at night, to be honest.
Now, so I'll talk to breakers like locally here in LA and other places, and what they're trying to do. This is what I want. This is what I want to talk about breaking. What they're trying to do from a breaking perspective is totally different than some of this other stuff you may see. Like, they're trying to break cards in a way that TJ gets his cards, I get my cards. They don't know what's in the box per se. Now, I don't know if other people do, but you can clearly watch their breaks and know that this is strictly random what's going on.
And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
I think, too, you're taking away integrity from the hobby, especially if let's say, I do my own breaks, right? And I'm getting emails from Panini. I'm getting emails from Fanatics. I'm getting emails from all these guys saying, man, we got all these boxes. We got specific ones just for you. So make sure you make it real cool. We got a special card in there, whatever. They're loading the boxes. I just couldn't do it. So I think, what you're saying with your guys, if they're doing it for the right reasons, I will sign up for breaks and support them. But if they're not, I just can't do it.
I'm all about supporting breakers who are breaking cards at random, holding themselves accountable, and they want to progress the hobby overall. There have been several breakers that I have supported to the 9th degree because I just want people to know that all breaking is not the same. And this is why I bring up breaking when we have interviews with different people, that I really respect their insight, because all breaking is not the same. I think people should just understand that. Feed the God says, hold on, we got some more GOAT talk here. Art says, regarding GOAT, man, I have seen videos over and over again, and player in good old days were tough, no doubt, but they were not in shape and condition to do like the dudes nowadays. Yeah, I said it. Okay.
I agree with that.
Feed the God says, I would personally have LeBron down at 15th at the highest. And then Money Mike said 15 sounds about right for LeBron. If you think a player is a GOAT, then that's your dude. The collectors will make the determination based on value of the cards. It's just interesting to me, though, that if people are ranking LeBron highly and he is the GOAT, his market has changed drastically in the last 18 months.
Drastically. Yeah, it's actually gone down significantly more than almost any player. And I think people are finally realizing too, LeBron's just doing a lot of dumb things lately, like how he's treating his teammates, his work ethic on the court. That stuff comes back to bite you. And obviously, if you want to talk about GOAT in terms of value of cards, Michael Jordan destroys everybody. I mean, in my opinion. So
I agree with you, sir. Money Mike says, why are the 86 clear boxes so rare when the print one was in the millions?
I mean, from what I saw, you just can't get one that has, is sealed. A lot of the packs and stuff are open.
You can't get one that's sealed. And even if you pull out a great card, it could be significantly off-centered. There could be a gum stain on it. These boxes are just, a lot of them may have been printed, but the ones that you want to grade or take to the next level from a prospecting standpoint, that I would say that print run is pretty low.
Yep.
Big John, excitement is for the entertainment value, but if you have to find genuine breakers, I agree with this.
Yep.
From the bench, biggest pet peeve is breakers who know nothing about sports or players.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to say too. A lot of breakers that got in it strictly got in it because they didn't have a job. COVID happened. They had to stay in their house. And, unfortunately, those guys reap the profits, and now they have huge brands. Not going to say names, but there's just a bunch of people that are not in it for the right reasons.
Well, you got to think about this. Let's all think about this too. Take it back in time. Back in not that long ago, you could buy a box for a certain dollar amount and break it for 4x, 5x the value of that box.
Yep.
Where else are you going to find margins like that? So,
yeah.
And then people were buying stuff directly from companies. I mean, there's a lot. There was a lot going on. So,
yep.
CV says LeBron 15th all-time 100th in character. What took the cake for me one time is that he was yelling at his teammates for rebounding with the Lakers, and LeBron didn't even rebound the ball. I made it short on that. That cracked me up, man. He was shouting, "Oh, we got it!" And someone else rebounded the ball. From the bench, going to the Lakers was the worst decision for LeBron. I think he was trying to get to an entertainment market. I think he was trying to get somewhere where he could do stuff post or while he was still playing. And there's no place like LA for that. So,
oh yeah.
What do you think about Steph Curry?
I'm very happy that he won. I think their story the last couple of years has been amazing. I mean, one of the worst records in the league. Jordan Poole coming out of nowhere, being a superstar. Klay Thompson's return. I mean, and then Klay finally kind of got back into the groove and, really helped them propel to the finals. And then Steph Curry finally winning a finals MVP. I think that alone just put him almost in the top, I wouldn't say top 10, but I mean, if he gets a couple more, I think he's the greatest 3-point shooter of all time, obviously. And he's been on some of the greatest teams, but I think this year they're going to come right on back because I think they're going to have, be even deeper on that bench. Hope that they pick up a good center, to be honest. I think that was where they were really lacking when I was watching the finals. They were getting hammered down low. So if they can get a good center, I think they'll be even more dominant.
Yeah. Money Mike says, how is LeBron exquisite outside of Jordan or Kobe exquisite autos?
I'm going to go back to the hype. People, it's just the hype from golden auctions to the big breakers to all these guys at the shows. It's all about celebrity publication too. So if a celebrity's going, man, the exquisite, it's just like Gary Vee with Jordan rookie cards. People don't understand. There's a reason why they're saying it, because either they're getting paid by the big companies or it's a pump and dump. They get the market to a certain area, they sell out, they never buy it again. Just like with the Dwayne Johnson Miami Hurricane football card. It was the same thing.
I remember when that card was on eBay for like $4.
Yep. Now it's in the thousands, I think.
That card took off.
Yep.
And no other card in that set is really worth. We got Ray Lewis, you got Warren Sapp. No other card in that set is really worth too much at all. But I think we should all know in today's time that any price on a large card, there is a level of social media speculation by certain people who are influential in the hobby. There's a layer there that when certain things are stamped as this is what this is, that then you see an explosion in price.
Yep.
For whatever reason. I mean, we could talk about shield bidding. We could talk about people getting paid to say certain things. It could be whatever it is. There's a marketing part of a price to a big dollar card.
Yep, and that's where social media can really be a dangerous thing, because if a young kid, let's say a young kid getting into the game, 16 years old, I mean, I get hundreds of DMs and emails all the time about it. There's a difference between advice I would give them, and then there's a difference between X, Y, and Z would give them, because X, Y, and Z is going to tell them what they want to say, so they go and buy this card so they can benefit. Then there's a difference between me and guys like you and other people that I know that are in it for the right reasons. They'll tell the guy and walk them through step by step how to start, how to get this X amount of sales, how to grow on social media, stuff like that. So it just, you really got to watch who you trust and who you watch, because social media is a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous thing.
Because I even look at their players like, if you look at like Warren Sapp's cards, nobody's talking about that. Ray Allen, who has won championships, helped LeBron win a championship. Nobody's talking about him. Reggie Miller, who did very well. Nobody's talking about him. There are a few quarterbacks in football. Nobody's going to be really talking about Phillip Rivers 10 years from now. They're just players who, and that's the fine line when someone is collecting young in a player's career. And I know a lot of us out here prospecting on certain players, and we think that we have seen something from a person or we believe in their market. I know some people that still buying Barry Bonds stuff and hoping.
Yeah, because and he gets in the Hall of Fame.
He gets in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, but may never happen. So it is interesting. I can remember still when I was young, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays cards, dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Graded on.
Yeah, and I think right now is like, I think this is one of the best opportunities ever in the sports card market, because all the people really that were in it for the wrong reasons, besides a few that I'm talking about, are still in it, but they're gone. Tons of people are gone. And now I think it's the biggest opportunity of a lifetime for people to restart their journey and do it the right way and learn from their mistakes, make huge profits on cards, but also, develop really cool portfolios with, like you said, the Mickey Mantles, the Willie Mays, the Roberto Clemente. Then you go into football, Tom Brady's, Justin Herbert, Peyton Manning, all these awesome cards, basketball, Michael Jordan, LeBron, all that stuff. But even if you want to go into non-sports, now I know this is sports cards, FD.
I love non-sports. We can talk non-sports.
But I'm telling you, man, I mean, Pokemon cards too are a huge. I mean, dude, I've made so much money selling Charizards. It's crazy.
Even when we talk about Marvel cards, talking about DC
Marvel cards. Yep. I know the great curator, Precious Metal Gems, if he's watching, those cards are amazing too. I know a lot of people are comparing the Kabooms to those cards in the modern era. So it's really, you can really create your own path and craft your own future. And that's why it's so cool. Like, if you want to strictly just collect tons of Kabooms, do it. If you want to do Precious Metal Gems, do it. You want to do, whatever.
Things change, right? Because
absolutely,
when I was young, it's great. When I was like 10, 12 years old, Star basketball cards were so counterfeited that no one was buying them or selling them or collecting them. What changed that whole card market for Star basketball was grading. If there was no grading today, you still wouldn't have PSA now is grading the Star. You wouldn't have that, and it wouldn't be a market. Because I remember going into card shops, and I'll tell you no joke, they were sitting on the base of a case, priced to sale, and not moving. I can remember this because no one knew if that's a real card, that's a fake card. But now that you have grading come in and it can solidify on the back and the front in certain areas, if cards are real, then it changes the whole game.
Who are you grading with the most right now? PSA still?
PSA and Beckett primarily. There are some cards that I think I want to send to SGC eventually.
Yeah, I mean, SGC is really surprising me. Their market value is almost surpassing BGS in a lot of areas too.
They are.
And they get your cards, and they still sell really well. So
another company is PSG, I think, is on the come up.
Oh, PSG?
CSG.
Oh, CSG. Yeah. Absolutely. They heard a lot of good things lately about them. That's the same thing as a CGC, aren't they? It's just that's just their sports department.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Money Mike says Curry is top 7 of 10. 14 point shooting. And then R says, "You're a funny guy, Money Mike." Money Mike always brings it, man. From the bench says, "Shh, I'm trying to grab all the Phillip Rivers I can, FD." Right. I'm trying to burst that bubble, but I just don't know. Quarterbacks that don't win Super Bowls, sometimes they don't stand.
They don't stand a chance, honestly.
What else do you want to share with the people out there before we
go? Let's see. I think, like I just really said, it's like if you feel like today's kind of like the start, I think it's the kind of the best start you could ever have. I think it's a restart in the market for sure. So if you're finding yourself at a place where you're like, man, I don't know what to do, it's like just start again. Just start, buying those PSAs. Just start collecting those ungradeds. Really trying to do your research. And like I said, if you need to take time to, like I did, take a couple months off just to reassess your plans, reassess your goals, and then attack them. Do it. So, yeah, man, I really appreciate you having me on, FD. I think this is long overdue, and I'm glad that
we'll do more.
Speak to the people, and absolutely let me know if you want me to have on another show. Would love to be back.
What about, you said you were thinking about going to some shows? Do you have a lot of shows in your area?
Yeah, I'm actually over in Charlotte, North Carolina. So the Big Hickory show that's down the street.
Oh yeah,
I'm right there.
Yeah,
Big State. I know Roth Cards was just down here the other day at the show, and then there's just a ton of local shows too. But I actually want to travel out to some other shows too. I was actually surprised. Like when I checked my email from like 3 months, like the messages like, come to card shows, we want to meet you. It's humbling. It's cool. But I definitely want to come out to some shows and meet the people and, meet up with guys like you and some other guys that are.
Yes, I was going to say, I would love to meet you at a show. We'll have to coordinate something. I would love to meet you.
Oh, we will.
Later this year, early or sometime in 2023. And I'll walk with you and just talk about stuff, man. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
TJ, awesome. I love your insight, man. And I'm the kind of person where we could agree on things, we could disagree on things. I love the conversation.
Yeah, me too.
And to me, that's what it's all about. This is an extension of the community. 2 people sitting down from totally different backgrounds, just talking about what they collect, why, what's the strategy behind it. Is a level that a lot of people I can't get into that strategy talk with them, and it's refreshing to be able to talk to you about stuff. I respect you a lot. I used to watch a lot of your content, man, when you were putting it out, because I think you have great insight and you're speaking from a perspective as someone not trying to gain anything, but trying to help. Someone once told me that they admire people who leave more on the table than they take. And that's how I would describe you, man.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that. And that's one thing too, I'm the type of person that just in my personal life too, I always, give more than I take because, I believe, even purposeful, if you want to talk about purpose, using your talents and abilities, like this is just a platform, what are you doing with that platform?
That's right.
That's like my mission behind Gold Label Sports is to, I came up with the name because it's like, you want to get those gems, right? Those gold labels, those big cards. But also too, it's like I want to inspire and motivate as many people as I can. So when my time is done and the new generation of content creators come on through, I want to leave them something to look on. Like TG did it the right way. So I really appreciate you saying that, man.
Well, we got a few comments for you. CV Sports Car says, can you put up your IG and eBay store info so we can follow?
Yeah, for sure. My IG is just Gold Label Sports. eBay is Gold Label Sports as well.
All right. Art says TJ is the man. Thanks, guys. TJ, Money Mike, TJ is a truth teller. And then he says, I live my life like TJ, give more than I take.
Love it, man. Keep it up.
Sir, I appreciate you, man. I'll be in contact with you. We'll have you on more. And we'll talk about something as far as getting together.
Yeah, let's link up for sure.
Stuff like that. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
All right, brother. We'll talk soon. See ya.
Bye-bye.